Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. In this video, we are going to have a discussion related to your complete syllabus of your PFRDA 2025 examination for the general stream, and I'll be also sharing preparation strategy at the end of this video. Okay, so video के last तक बने रहिएगा. We'll be having a detailed analysis of your syllabus and what should be your preparation strategy. Before starting the video, I would like to tell you that if you would like to take our guidance regarding this particular course of PFRDA, so we have launched a complete course both for your phase 1 and your phase 2, right? So you can join this course. You can see the course highlights. We are doing 200 plus live sessions here. 80 plus notes for PFRDA subjects will also be covered, and there will be a lot of mock test as well, right? In this particular course, the medium of this particular course will be completely in English. So you can check out the course highlights of this course, right? And you can start your preparation with us. You can download the Oliveboard application as well, and there you'll be getting all the PDFs related to the YouTube sessions, and you can download the previous year questions as well for your practice. First thing to note here is important dates to remember, right? So we do have examination of phase 1 on 6th of September, right? 6th of September is your phase 1 exam, and on 6th of October is your phase 2 exam. So if I talk about, if you start study from today itself, right, on 25th June 2025, so you have approximately 72 days here for your phase 1 preparation, and you do have 29 days from 6th of September to 6th of October, right? So for phase 1 you do have 72 days. For phase 2 examination you'll be getting a slot of 29 days here, right? However, I will advise you guys to please do prepare the English descriptive section as well in your 72 days. You don't have to prepare the entire section. However, you can do practice at least once a week, once or twice a week you can do that practice, because in 29 days to do that English descriptive practice is quite difficult, right? Because it takes time. आज आप इंग्लिश डिस्क्रिप्टिव सीख के एकदम से लिखने नहीं लग जाओगे. You need to practice a lot, right? So things take time. Definitely I'll suggest you to at least once a week, आप यहाँ पे in 72 days के अंदर once a week try to write English descriptive answers, right? Plus at the same time we need to ensure that we are at least clearing the phase 1 cutoff in order to be eligible for your phase 2 examination. So here we are having 72 days. How to manage your study in these 72 days, I'll be definitely talking about that in the preparation strategy, which is there at the end of the video, right? And how to manage these 29 days, how to get most of the benefits from these days, right? So definitely we'll be having a good amount of discussion on that. So do remember this timeline. Why? Because timeline is very, very important. आपको अपना गोल सामने दिख रहा होना चाहिए, and you should be having a proper plan which you are able to execute. First thing is planning, second thing is execution, right? Planning कर दी, execution नहीं हुआ तो planning का कोई मतलब नहीं रहेगा. So do follow that plan aggressively for the next 72 days जो मैं आपको बताने जा रहा हूँ. Phase 1 examination, we all know that we are having two papers here, paper 1 and paper 2. In paper 1 we are having QRE, quant, reasoning and English, and general awareness. And as I said, the best part about this examination is paper 2, right? So whatever you are studying in paper 2, both in your phase 1 and your phase 2 is the same only. The level will be definitely different, right? Phase 2 mein there will be difficult questions as compared to phase 1. However, the topics are broadly the same. So it will definitely give you a compounding effect. Whatever you are studying in phase 1, you will be again studying it in phase 2, and that's the best part of SEBI and PFRDA examination. I personally love this thing the most. आपका effort खाली नहीं जा रहा, right? आपका effort खाली नहीं जा रहा. जैसे for example आपने QRE पढ़ा, आपको वो सिर्फ phase 1 में काम आया, phase 2 में सिर्फ इंग्लिश ही काम आएगा, वो भी descriptive. However, if I talk about this paper 2, this is the most scoring paper of your examination, right? और अगर आपका कोई इसके अंदर fear factor भी है, if you are having any kind of fear because you are a non-commerce student or non-finance background वाले हो, so definitely I'll clarify that as well. So here we are having subjects like commerce and accountancy, management, right, finance, costing, Companies Act, economics and pension sector. Why? Because this is the pension regulator of India. Obviously you need to study things about the pension sector as well. So this is your paper 2. Now how to prepare all these subjects in 72 days, right? Let's keep 70 only as of now. 2 दिन हटा दो आप, 70 डेज राउंड ऑफ में रखते हैं, बेटर है. इसी को बोलते हैं कंजर्वेटिज्म, जो हम अकाउंटिंग के अंदर भी फॉलो करते हैं. वी कॉल इट एज प्रूडेंस एज वेल, राइट? हम उसको प्रूडेंस भी बोलते हैं. सो प्रूडेंट प्रैक्टिस हियर विल बी टू कीप ओनली 70 डेज एज ऑफ नाउ. ओके, so within these 70 days what you need to do is you need to prepare a lot of subjects here which are mentioned, and many of you guys must be having a non-commerce background as well earlier, so it can be difficult initially for you guys, right? However, I would advise you guys to keep at least 2 to 3 subjects for your regular practice. Let's suppose if you are doing commerce and accountancy, from paper 2 you are doing commerce and accountancy, which is a practical subject. No doubt it's having theory as well, however it needs practical understanding to cover this subject, right? So I will advise you that from paper 1 you can either take English language, or you can even take general awareness with it, right? That in that way you can study, so that अगर आप बहुत टाइम के लिए भी पढ़ रहे हो, मान लो 8 to 10 आवर्स के लिए भी पढ़ रहे हो पर डे, सो आपको बोर नहीं होगे आप. देयर विल बी नो मोनोटोनी, राइट? अदरवाइज इट विल डेफिनेटली रिजल्ट इन अ मोनोटोनस प्रिपरेशन. सो दैट्स व्हाई आई ऑलवेज एडवाइज यू to at least keep 2 to 3 subjects all together. What you can do here is you can start preparing the commerce and accountancy, and at the same time if you get bored a little bit, so definitely you can switch to English, you can switch to general awareness as well. In the same manner you can create such kind of groups, right? So commerce and accountancy के साथ you can take English, you can take general awareness. If I talk about management or companies act or economics or pension sector, so these are the theory topics. Management, companies act, economics, pension sector, these are broadly theory topics. So what you can do here is you can take a practical subject with it, maybe quantitative aptitude, maybe reasoning, right? You can practice the quant and reasoning as well. So say for example आप management पढ़ रहे हो और pension sector पढ़ रहे हो, अब आपको थोड़ा सा energy level down लग रहा है, so you can switch to quant, you can switch to reasoning, right? So when we are studying theory, a separate part of our brain is working, and when we are studying reasoning, quantitative aptitude, the analytical part of our brain is working. So you can definitely take this in a mix, right? So whenever you are studying commerce and accountancy, costing, finance, right, you can opt for English, general awareness. Whenever you are studying management, companies act, theory part of the economics and pension sector, you can take quantitative aptitude and reasoning here. तो उससे थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट बना रहेगा स्टडीज के अंदर. ओके, सो दिस इन दिस मैनर विल बी कवरिंग द फेज 1 इन दीज 70 days. आई विल बी शेयरिंग द प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रैटेजी एज वेल, कि आपको कितने दिन अलॉट करने चाहिए किस सब्जेक्ट को. आई विल बी डेफिनेटली टेलिंग यू दैट एज वेल. इफ आई टॉक अबाउट फेज 2, द बेस्ट पार्ट इज पेपर 2. We have already covered paper 2 very well in these 72 days. Now again we do have 29 more days to strengthen our grip on the paper 2 part, right? That's the best part of this examination. So again you'll be studying these subjects. Now definitely you need to study these subjects with a different perspective. आपका perspective should change here. That's the prerequisite, because this is phase 2. Definitely the level will increase as compared to the phase 1. Okay. Then in paper 1, in phase 2, we are having English descriptive to test your drafting skills. So definitely a good amount of practice is required here. And in these 29 days, I don't think these 29 days are enough to cover your English descriptive. That's why I will advise you to at least start practicing 1 question per week or 2 questions per week. Advisable is 2 questions. If you are not able to manage that, definitely you can switch to 1 question as well. Right, so what you can do here is weekly 1 question of English descriptive from today itself. 1 question you need to write, you need to type, right? Plus practice 1 more question and only write the keywords. Only write the keywords. If you are not able to write 2 questions, no problem, write 1 only. However, for the second one you can write the keywords. Right? In this manner you can gain some strength on the paper 1 part if that's in your weak zone. If that subject is in your weak zone, definitely you need to start practicing that from this day itself, right? From this day itself you need to start practicing this subject. So I'll advise you to at least try to write one descriptive question वीक के अंदर, ताकि इन 29 डेज के अंदर आपके ऊपर प्रेशर ना आए, राइट? एंड स्टडी दिस पेपर टू इन सच अ मैनर कि आपके हर जगह काम आने वाला है. देखो, इफ यू आर गिविंग सेबी एग्जामिनेशन, वहां काम आने वाला है. पीएफआरडीए के अंदर फेज 1 फेज 2 में, सेबी के अंदर फेज 1 फेज 2 में. सो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट आपका पेपर है, राइट? इसको इग्नोर मत करना. दिस इज द मोस्ट स्कोरिंग, आई विल से, राइट? And one of the easiest thing that is quite predictable, right? This will give you definitely good amount of marks. This can fetch you good amount of marks in your examination. So the first thing is phase 1 and phase 2 are not different. If yes, you are preparing for the phase 1 examination, however, you need to synchronize your phase 2 topics as well in advance along with your phase 1 preparation. That's essential, because in those 29 days it will be very, very difficult for you to gain a new habit. Yes, descriptive writing is a habit. You can't gain a descriptive writing wali habit within 29 days. As personally I feel that if you want to write very good answers, you need a lot of practice, right? And personally I feel कि अगर आप एक वीक के अंदर एक क्वेश्चन प्रैक्टिस करते हो तो that's enough for gaining a new skill, right? 72 days अच्छा टाइम है, 29 डेज और आपको उसको पॉलिश करने के लिए वापस मिल जाएगा. एट द सेम टाइम डू रिमेंबर कि आप अपनी ग्रिप पेपर 1 के अंदर कम नहीं कर रहे हो. व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर इज कट ऑफ इन एवरी सब्जेक्ट. इन एवरी सब्जेक्ट यू नीड टू क्लियर द कट ऑफ एज वेल, राइट? सो अगेन जीए विल बी वन ऑफ द मोस्ट स्कोरिंग सब्जेक्ट, आई विल से, राइट? डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन है, थ्योरी बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आते हैं. फाइनेंस सेक्टर, इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर, पेंशन सेक्टर रिलेटेड भी क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. वेरी वेरी I will say scoring topic here. कुछ नहीं करना, you need to give multiple revisions. You need to give here multiple revisions. सही है? क्वांट और रीजनिंग आपका वीक हो सकता है, so definitely आपको इतना प्रिपेयर तो एटलीस्ट करना ही है that you are able to at least clear the cut off, right? English language again I will say इसको स्ट्रॉन्ग जोन में डालो. वाई? दिस विल अगेन गिव यू अ कंपाउंडिंग इफेक्ट, बिकॉज फेज 2 के अंदर भी आपका इंग्लिश डिस्क्रिप्टिव आ रहा है. यहाँ पे आई नो इट्स अ एमसीक्यू बेस्ड एग्जामिनेशन, हाउएवर if your English is good, then definitely you can score good in the phase 2 descriptive as well, right? It will definitely give you a edge over others, right? Coming to phase 2, again paper 1 की practice अभी से चालू कर दो. पेपर 2 के अंदर you need to practice more and more questions after clearing phase 1 examination, right? Now let's try to understand the strategy for those students who are not having the adequate finance background. They think that they don't have a finance background, they don't have a BCom degree. Guys, tell me whether BCom degree here is eligible or not. It's not eligible. Master degree in any discipline is eligible. Bachelor degree in law, in engineering is eligible. So PFRDA and SEBI organization believes that even if you are an engineer, even if you are a law graduate, or even if you are having a master degree in any discipline, they haven't even mentioned commerce here, right? Though they are teaching you, though they are expecting from you guys to know finance, to know economics, to know commerce and accountancy, however, degree is not at all a prerequisite as per my understanding, right? Commerce degree is not at all a prerequisite here, and that's quite true. Why? Because 70 days are enough to prepare for the syllabus. 70 days are enough to prepare for the syllabus if you do it in a very planned way, in a very good way. You take mentorship. If you don't have the background, then I suggest you to take any mentorship, right? किसी की भी ले लो, जिसका कंटेंट आपको अच्छा लगता है उसकी आप mentorship ले लो. ज़्यादा बेटर रहेगा आपके लिए as compared to स्क्रैच से खुद से आप पढ़ोगे. It will be very difficult if you don't have the background. For those who are having the background, definitely you can prepare on your own as well. If you know, आपको वो सारी चीजें याद है जो आपने पहले पढ़ी है, it's already there in your strength zone, then you can focus on the self study as well. That's possible. However, if you don't have the background, I highly recommend you to take mentorship, right? So this is the education qualification, and I always say that if the organization is not restricting you, why do you have such a kind of restriction कि ये तो commerce का exam है? This is not at all a commerce based exam, and I have taught multiple students, I have seen multiple students who have cleared this examination. They don't have the background. They don't have the background of commerce or finance, right? So that's not required. That's why it is not at all mentioned in the educational qualification as well, right? This is not a CA wali commerce and accountancy. This is not a CFA wali finance. These are the basic things, and I personally think कि अगर you are learning finance, you are learning commerce and accountancy in a practical way, it will definitely help you in life, right? It will increase your financial IQ as well. Let's come to the syllabus now. So the first subject is commerce and accountancy, one of my favorite subject, commerce and accountancy, a very scoring subject. So first what you need to focus on is building a strong base. You need to focus on building a strong base. Now what are the topics which we can call as base topics, basic topics? So this is number 1. I would like to add on concepts and conventions. Accounting rules, both your traditional and modern, right? Methods of doing accounting, accrual basis, cash basis, things like that. These things will form part of your basics, right? Build a strong base first. Once you are done with the base, once you have created a base, then accounting will be very easy. If you don't have the base, this is the most difficult subject. If you have the base, this is the most interesting subject. I won't say easy. This is the most easy. This is the most interesting subject, right? You can check out our demo as well, and you can consider that we definitely break this subject down in a very interesting way for you guys, right? This is not easy. However, this is very interesting, and the most useful subject, I personally feel that commerce and accountancy, commerce and accountancy, finance and economics. अगर ये तीन आपके strong zone में है, so definitely it gives you a good perspective of the business, of the economics, of the economy as a whole, right? So build a strong base. Start with working with the first topic as of now. Then you can move to the accounting standard part. In accounting standard, first you will be covering AS2, then you will be covering AS9 and AS10 first. I know other Ind AS and AS are also there in your course. Yes, you need to study Ind AS as well. However, you need to have a general overview of the Ind AS, and in our paid course we are covering the Ind AS as well, right? So first you need to go through these AS2, AS9 and AS10. Once you are done with them, let's suppose the first thing you need to do here is basics. So पहली चीज आप क्या करोगे? Basic. Then you'll be moving to accounting standards, accounting standard 2, accounting standard 9 and accounting standard 10. Once you are done with this accounting standards, I will advise you to switch to preparation and presentation of final accounts plus cash flow statement, which is written here in the C part, right? After that, you can move to the ratio analysis and financial statement analysis. Once you are done with that, you can now cover the rest of the accounting standards, right? Like accounting standards related to your foreign exchange transactions and investment, AS11 and AS13. And do remember the name of the respective Ind AS as well related to these accounting standards. And then you can start preparing the company accounts wala part. I call it company accounts. So it's usually related to the share capital transaction of bonus shares, right shares, ESOPs and buybacks, right? So this will be the sequence. First, get a good grasp on the basics, then move to the accounting standard AS2, AS9, AS10. Then move to preparation and presentation of final accounts, cash flow statement, ratio analysis, then accounting standards, rest of the accounting standards, and then your corporate account wala portion. And at the same time, you can along with your corporate account wala portion, you can cover the fund flow statement as well. Cash flow statement will be more important, plus the difference between cash flow statement and fund flow statement is more important than the fund flow statement in itself, right? So this will be the preparation strategy of your commerce and accountancy. This will be the sequence of your commerce and accountancy. सही है? तो मैं आपको सेम टाइम पे ही सब्जेक्ट डिस्कस करते करते ही बताना चाहूंगा. अच्छा, वन थिंग आई वुड लाइक टू टेल यू, यहाँ पे अकाउंटिंग फॉर डेप्रिसिएशन दे हैव रिटन. हाउएवर this AS6, this used to be AS6, it's already merged in AS10 and AS6 is no more, right? So you already will be studying the accounting for depreciation in your AS10, which is not fixed assets as of now. It is property, plant and equipment. Do remember it. This is property, plant and equipment. AS10 is no more fixed asset. It is property, plant and equipment, right? So please do remember this thing. And they have already incorporated the concept of depreciation and accounting for depreciation in AS10. So AS6 is no more. Okay. So this was about commerce and accountancy. If I move to management, this is a theory subject. This is a complete theory subject. It's a very easy and a very scoring subject. Do start with the basics of management and then you can move to leadership, motivation, communication and topics like that. However, I will say that this is one of the most easiest subject to score the marks, right? So definitely keep it in your strong zone. You need to give multiple revision in order to cover this particular subject. This is a theory subject. If I talk about finance, your finance is divided into three parts: financial system, financial markets and your general topics. Financial markets will be the very important, the most important topic for this examination will be financial market, both for PFRDA, both for SEBI examination. Financial market will be the most important topic. Apart from that, derivative is again a very important topic. You can see here recent developments in the financial sector. I can also say that from this particular part, you need to read finance current affairs, RBI circulars, SEBI circulars. You don't have to read all the circulars, right? You just need to have a good understanding of some important circular. Let's suppose if I talk about SEBI circular. So recently, I think, in RBI circular, recently they have come up with, they have allowed the stripping as well in the state government security. Now stripping securities, separating the interest and principal component from a bond is important for pension sector as well, right? Because pension sector also do invest in these stripping bonds or financial instruments, right? So this particular circular can be important, and that's how in the paid classes we are in detail definitely discussing about each and everything related to the circulars as well that can be important for the PFRDA examination, right? Then we do have financial inclusion, which is again a common topic in your economics as well. Alternate source of finance, public-private partnership, private and social cost benefit, right? And topic E, which is inflation, which is again a common topic in your economics. If I talk about this topic E, I would advise you to cover it at last. Okay. For direct and indirect taxes, please do cover all the amendments that are there, recent amendments that are there in the direct and indirect taxes, the basic ones that are related to income tax and GST, right? You need to have a basic understanding of what direct tax is, what indirect tax is, right? So you can easily cover this portion as well. Apart from that, I will say that this particular topic is a core theory topic. However, in the second part of your finance, you will be having both theory plus practical, and this is very important for your examination. Derivative is again important. Do give it a priority. This particular topic you can study last ke andar, right? So priority will be, the first thing is cover the financial system, then move to the financial markets wala part. Do it very well. Then try to cover the basics of derivative. Obviously, recent developments in financial sector, you are already covering it in finance current affairs, right? Financial inclusion, inflation is already covered in finance and economics. These two topics you can keep for the last. You can first you try to cover rest of the things, and then after, once you are done with the main topics, 80% of the topics, that can give you a good amount of marks in the examination, then you'll be covering the topic D and E. Okay, so that will be the strategy for finance. If I talk about costing, we think that it is a practical subject. However, when you see the syllabus, when you'll start studying this particular subject, this is majorly a theory topic, right? This first topic is a complete theory topic. This is overview of cost and management accounting, introduction to cost and management accounting, right? Objective, scope. So you need to know here what is cost accounting, what is management accounting, what is financial accounting. You need to know the differences as well between them. A theory topic, a pure theory topic, right? Lean system, again a pure theory topic and a scoring one, right? If you cover first and fourth topic, which is your theory, which is completely a theory topic, definitely you can fetch some marks in this examination, because a lot of things related to basics of costing and lean system are being asked in the examination of both PFRDA and as well as SEBI examination, right? So again, I will say, even if you are scared of practicals, no need to worry. Practical question definitely important है आपके examination के लिए. However, there is a lot of theory as well in your examination which can give you good amount of marks. So these topics are core theory. So I'll advise you to start with this overview of costing. First, let's form the basic, get a good grasp on the basic. Then you can move to the methods of costing. Here you can see that a lot of methods are given, like single output unit costing, job costing, batch costing, contract costing. Why? Because there are different industries, different businesses, and every business has a different way of operating and computing the cost. Simple topic. These are small and easy topics. We are covering these topics in a very interesting manner in our paid course. Next, if I talk about basics of cost control and analysis, so I'll guide you guys. Please cover the marginal costing and budget and budgetary first. Okay, first cover marginal costing and budgetary control. Don't go directly for standard costing, though they have in priority level उनने पहले बता रखा है. However, I will advise you guys to please cover marginal costing first and budgetary control first instead of standard costing. Standard costing को आप बाद में कवर करोगे जब आपका बाकी का कोर्स हो चुका है, right? Then you can move to the lean costing as well. In between, you can start preparing for lean costing as well. So that's not at all a big worry. It's a core theory topic and it's a very easy one. So if you are bored of practical things, you can definitely pick lean system as well in between. And at the last, you will be covering the standard costing, right? Standard costing आप last में cover करोगे. अगर time बचा तो, नहीं बचा तो कोई बात नहीं, उसके basics पढ़ के आप उसको selected manner में पढ़ सकते हो. छोड़ने के लिए नहीं बोल रहा हूं. I'm not telling you guys to leave it completely. However, we can definitely cover the important things from the standard costing topic. Why? Because this is a complex topic. It takes time to settle, right? So definitely you can first aim to cover the rest of the important things that will give you good marks in the examination, and then if time permits, you can cover the standard costing in detail. If not, then we'll be covering the basics and important things from that chapter, right? However, in paid class, I will be covering it fully, but I will advise you guys to keep it for last, right? एक बार पहले अपना कोर्स कर लो, एक कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल आ जाए, उसके बाद आप स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग भी पढ़ सकते हो. देन कमिंग टू कंपनीज एक्ट, अगेन इट्स अ कोर थ्योरी टॉपिक. You need to remember the important section, the important provisions. In the live classes I'll be telling you कि आपको क्या क्या ज़्यादा अच्छे से याद रखना है, right? Days की लिमिट है, बहुत सारी लिमिट्स है. So here we can see a chapter wise details as well. This is a core theory topic again. So I'll advise you can take this particular topic with any of the practical subject in your phase 1 examination. So you need to learn about the prospectus, share capital, debentures, audit and auditors, meetings of the board, and a lot of things are there. You don't have to study the entire Companies Act 2013, just the important provisions of it that are being mentioned, the important chapters, and I'll be definitely telling you in the live classes what can be the most important part for your examination, right? Coming to economics, again we are having the basics of economics as well as advanced economics here. So demand and supply, market structures, national income, right? Now if you do have any kind of fear with economics, you can start with basics like demand and supply, market structures, right, inflation, business cycle. There are a lot of basic things as well. Balance of payment, foreign exchange markets. Again, foreign exchange markets is a common topic in finance as well. Inflation, monetary fiscal policy, NBFIs. These are the common topics which are there in your finance as well as economics. So course जितना बड़ा दिख रहा है उतना बड़ा नहीं है. There are a lot of common topics as well, right? So again, a scoring topic, I will say economics. Majorly it is theory. Majority of the economics is theory only. Pension sector, again a core theory topic. Again it is a core theory topic. So here you need to study the status of pension sector in India, types of retirement schemes. Obviously you are joining the pension sector regulator of India. How come you don't know about pension sector, right? It should be in your strong zone. So definitely I'll ask you guys to prepare this particular section very well out of all the sections. National pension scheme, Atal pension yojana, what kind of annuity plans are there, and the basics of investment that we'll be studying in finance also, as well as commerce and accountancy as well, right? So again, these are the easy things and you can cover them easily. So that's about your pension sector, right? And definitely this paper 2 will be common for your phase 1 as well as phase 2, right? So whatever things you have studied in your phase 2 will be again useful for your phase 2 as well, right? So now if I talk about the paper 1 of the phase 1 examination, which is having English, quant, reasoning and general awareness, these are the topics that you need to study from the quant, though we do have a complete syllabus which is mentioned in the notification for the paper 2 of phase 1 and paper 2 of phase 2. However, we don't have a suggestive syllabus or a complete syllabus in the notification related to quant, reasoning, general awareness and English, right? So we have drafted major chapters that they are asking in the examination, and definitely you need to at least cover these chapters like percentage, profit and loss account, ratio, proportion, simplification, right? These topics they are asking in other examinations as well. These are the general topics that are usually being asked in the competitive examination, right? So please do cover these topics. This is a suggested syllabus from our team, right? And the important topics from the quant can be simplification, quadratic equation, number series, percentage, ratio, proportion and data interpretation. So definitely if you are studying on a selective basis from quant or reasoning, many students do that, right? Many students have a weak zone in the quant and reasoning side. If you do have a weak zone, then definitely you can focus more on the important topics first. That can definitely give you good marks in the examination, right? If I talk about reasoning, these are the topics from the reasoning: alphanumeric series, coding, decoding, right? Inequalities, directions, ranking, and here are some of the important topics from the reasoning side. So definitely give priority on these topics. I'm not telling you to leave rest of the topics and only cover the important ones. No, not at all. I'll tell you why. Why not to leave anything. At the end of this session, I'll be definitely giving you a good amount of strategy as well that can be helpful for your examination. So mostly we suggest that reasoning is easy to moderate level pe hi aati hai, right? Mostly we suggest to cover completely. However, you can follow this ranking as well. Okay, this sequence also you can follow for covering your reasoning subject, right? If I talk about general awareness, then you should read finance current affairs. Okay, so on every Thursday 8 PM I'm taking a class on YouTube related to finance current affairs. It's a complete free class. वहाँ पे आप आके सारे finance current affairs cover कर सकते हो. You can also cover the MCQs related to finance current affairs that I'm taking on the Friday 8 PM. So from general awareness part, these are the points that you need to study. These are the broad pointers that you need to study. The most important ones from the general awareness, I'll say, is finance current affairs, newspaper, important RBI and SEBI circulars. Now ये थोड़ा सा fear factor बन सकता है. Now you might be having a fear कि सर हम इतने सारे circulars कैसे पढ़ेंगे. You don't have to read all the circulars. As I told you, अभी एक circular बताया stripping of SGBs. central government bonds. That can be important for your RBI exam, sorry, for your PFRDA exam. That's a RBI circular, and these kind of circular I keep on taking on YouTube as well as I keep on guiding in the paid class as well कि आपको कौन कौन से circulars पे ध्यान देना चाहिए for PFRDA exam, right? It's not like that we'll be asking you to cover each and everything. Definitely we will be covering in the paid classes. However, I'll ask you guys to at least read the circulars on a selective basis. Plus, I personally feel that these three things go hand in hand: finance current affairs, newspaper, and circular. If you are reading a good newspaper, you are already covering majority of the finance current affairs. If you are reading a good newspaper, you are already covering the major circulars that are in limelight, right? So newspaper reading is one of the most essential habit, I will say, that you can develop, right? And rest of the topics you can see here that you need to cover these topics from the general awareness. If I talk about English, I have again mentioned the topics of the English as well. These are the suggestive topic that you need to cover for your phase 1 examination, right? And then we do have descriptive English as well in the phase 2, and I will stick to my strategy that start preparing for descriptive English at least once in a week, right? Try to write a descriptive answer, try to write the keywords. That's very important for your descriptive English. So you need to have practice related to essay writing. You will be practicing essay writing, précis writing, comprehension, right? It's not at all a one day or 1 week game. It will take time. That's why I'm again and again repeating, start preparing from today itself. So that's your descriptive English, right? Now what will be the preparation strategy? So it can depend whether you do have a background or not. If you do have a background, I will ask you guys to directly attempt previous year questions. Start checking the previous year question papers, not just for PFRDA but for SEBI as well. So you need to cover both the previous year questions for PFRDA previous year questions as well as for SEBI general examination as well. Why? Because the syllabus is almost the same except the pension sector, which is a addition in the PFRDA syllabus, which is not there in the SEBI. However, rest of the things are same only. So definitely I'll advise you guys to cover both the previous year questions of these examination of PFRDA as well as SEBI. Try to make short notes whenever you are watching live classes, whenever you are reading any kind of PDF or you are doing any question. Try to note down the important things. खुद का लिखा हुआ हमेशा याद रहता है, राइट? किसी और का पढ़ा हुआ कुछ टाइम तक याद रहता है, खुद का पढ़ा हुआ, खुद का लिखा हुआ हाथ से हमेशा याद रहता है. That goes into your permanent memory. Even if you are giving short notes, everything, we are doing everything in a crisp manner in live classes as well. However, I will advise you to always make short notes, at least the important pointers. Next thing, in newspaper reading is very important. When you read a newspaper, you get all the finance current affairs, you get most of the things related to RBI circulars as well, right? At least the important circulars are, उनका रेफरेंस न्यूज़ के अंदर कवर हो जाता है, राइट? आपका जनरल अवेयरनेस वाला पार्ट शॉर्ट हो जाता है. अच्छा, whenever you are reading newspaper, you get words like bonds, right? You get words like financial instruments, derivatives, swaps. So these things you can read the newspaper and try to research on your own as well. So indirectly आपका फाइनेंस भी काफ़ी कुछ कवर होता है अगर आपने न्यूज़पेपर रीडिंग करी है और उसके बारे में रिसर्च किया है. द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज मॉक टेस्ट. आई हैव सीन मेनी स्टूडेंट्स जो पूरे साल तक, पूरे 6 महीने तक पढ़ते रहते हैं. दे कीप ऑन स्टडीइंग थ्योरी, प्रैक्टिकल, they watch all the live classes but they don't attend mock test. And I ask you a question, guys, what do you need to do in the examination? What you will be doing in the examination? You will be attending questions, you will be attempting questions, right? So can you think, guys, कि 6 महीने तक आप पढ़ रहे होते हो पर आप mock test नहीं दे रहे होते, जबकि एग्जाम में you need to solve questions, right? So I'll ask you guys to attempt all the mock tests that we are providing, right? ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा questions you need to do. Descriptive question I have already discussed it. Books or course. So if you don't have the requisite background, if you don't have confidence, even if you have a background but however you are lacking in your preparation, आपका schedule नहीं बन पा रहा. काफ़ी सारे लोग होते हैं जो प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं, स्टिल उनका schedule नहीं बन पा रहा होता. CS वाले भी क्लास में आते हैं, राइट? वाई? बिकॉज शेड्यूल नहीं बन पा रहा या प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रैटेजी क्लियर नहीं है, क्योंकि दिस इज नॉट एट ऑल अ सीए एग्जाम, दिस इज नॉट अ 11th-12th वाला एग्जाम कि मैं आपको बोलूँ एनसीईआरटी पढ़ लो, सीए की बुक्स पढ़ लो, दैट्स नॉट पॉसिबल। आई हैव सीन मल्टीपल वीडियोज ऑन यूट्यूब जो बोल रहे हैं कि आप एनसीईआरटी से पढ़ लो या फिर सीए की बुक्स से पढ़ लो, गलत नहीं बोल रहे। हाउएवर आई पर्सनली फील दैट्स वेरी टफ। व्हाई? एनसीईआरटी इज बीइंग डिजाइंड टू क्लियर 11th क्लास एग्जाम, जो पूरा 1 ईयर का एग्जाम है। अगेन उसके अंदर से भी आपको 12th क्लास के भी टॉपिक्स पढ़ने पड़ रहे हैं। सो क्या पढ़ना है, क्या छोड़ना है, व्हाट टू सेलेक्ट, व्हाट टू रिजेक्ट बिकम्स वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर अ स्टूडेंट। आई हैव सीन टीचर्स एडवाइजिंग कि सीए की बुक से पढ़ लो, सीएस की बुक से पढ़ लो, बेसिक पढ़ लो। आई डोंट थिंक दैट विल बी अ राइट स्ट्रैटेजी, राइट? Those books are not at all for clearing PFRDA examination, RBI examination or SEBI examination. You need to have a selective approach. क्या छोड़ना है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाएगा यार, वो बहुत बड़ी बड़ी बुक्स है। आई वोंट सजेस्ट यू गाइज टू गो थ्रू द बुक्स, राइट? इफ यू आर डोंट हैविंग द बैकग्राउंड, लेट सपोज इफ यू डू हैव अ स्ट्रॉन्ग बैकग्राउंड और आपका स्केड्यूल भी बन पा रहा है, डेफिनेटली यू कैन गो फॉर खुद से प्रिपरेशन एज वेल, सेल्फ प्रिपरेशन पे भी आप जा सकते हो। हाउएवर इफ यू डोंट हैव द कॉन्फिडेंस कि मैं एनसीईआरटी बुक्स में से सीए बुक्स के अंदर से खुद से निकाल पा रहा हूँ, वी हैव ऑलरेडी समराइज्ड everything for you in our course, right? You can check out our course as well. For that, everything is beautifully covered, all the concepts related to NCERTs and CSES books that can be important for your examination. We haven't covered everything. We have covered only those things that can be important for your PFRDA examination, right? So in case if you don't have that background, if you have that fear factor, या फिर आपको schedule नहीं बन पा रहा, आपका पूरा स्ट्रक्चर नहीं बन पा रहा, you want things to be covered in a structured manner, definitely you can go for any paid course, right? Okay guys, so if I talk about phase 1, you need to form cartels here. Like for commerce and accountancy, you can cover it with English language, general awareness. For Companies Act, management, economics, you can cover it with quant or reasoning, so that आपका interest level यहाँ पे बना रहेगा, right? And because we do have sectional cutoff here, so try to cover each and every subject. Don't leave any subject for later on, क्योंकि लास्ट में कुछ नहीं होने वाला. Definitely try to cover it अभी का अभी ही within this 72 days, right? So what you can do here is you can divide the 70 days in the subjects and you can allocate adequate days. Let's suppose if I am weak in commerce and accountancy, so I'll give majority of the days here. I'll allocate majority of the days here, right? Let's suppose management is easy, economics is fine, finance is fine, so I'll be giving 5 to 8 days anywhere. Let's suppose if commerce and accountancy, I feel that commerce and accountancy is difficult, so I'll be allocating 10 days here. In that manner you can prepare the plan. Definitely I won't be giving you particular days कि आप इसको इतना दे दो, उसका इतना दे दो. किसी का background होगा commerce and accountancy में, किसी का नहीं होगा. So those who do have a strong background, you need to give lesser number of days to commerce and accountancy and finance. You can focus more on your paper 2, you can focus more on economics, you can focus more on management, Companies Act, pension sector, right? However, if you don't have the background, I will ask you to allocate maximum number of days to commerce and accountancy, for costing, for finance, right? In that manner you will be gaining confidence and you will be covering those things first that are in your weak zone. अगर इनको आपने लास्ट के लिए छोड़ दिया है, डेफिनेटली बहुत मेस होने वाला है. आई एडवाइज यू टू प्लीज कवर योर वीक जोन एट द बिगिनिंग, नॉट एट द एंड. अदरवाइज इट विल शेक योर कॉन्फिडेंस, वो आपका कॉन्फिडेंस हिला के रख देगा. आई विल एडवाइज यू गाइज टू प्लीज कवर द वीक जोन. लेट सपोज कॉमर्स एंड अकाउंटेंसी इज योर वीक जोन, दैट्स द फर्स्ट थिंग यू नीड टू कवर. इफ फाइनेंस इज योर वीक जोन, go ahead with the finance first. Okay, that will be strategy for your phase 1 examination. For phase 2, again I have told you guys to practice at least one question weekly and rest of the paper 2 strategy will remain the same only, right? Once you are done with the phase 1 examination, I'll come up with a phase 2 strategy. As of now, I will advise you to only cover the English descriptive weekly. Otherwise paper 2 you are already covering it, right? Once you are done with your phase 1 examination, then I'll tell you the phase 2 का paper 2 का strategy कि उसको different perspective से कैसे पढ़ा जाता है. Plus we'll be having a lot of sessions as well on YouTube related to commerce and accountancy, finance and the rest of your subjects as well, right? So you can check out that as well. Now I was telling you guys, why not to leave any subject or why not to leave any topic? When you increase the scope of your coverage, you increase the surface area of your luck. These are the questions, these are the MCQ questions. अब जितना छोटा आपका स्कोप होगा उतने कम आप MCQs एग्जाम में कवर कर पाओगे. जितना बड़ा आप सिलेबस कवर कर पाओगे उतने ज्यादा आपको MCQs एग्जाम में आएंगे. ऑब्वियसली बात है. लेट सपोज इफ आई टॉक अबाउट डेरिवेटिव चैप्टर, आपने स्ट्रेट डेरिवेटिव चैप्टर ही छोड़ दिया, सो विल यू बी एबल टू अटेंड दैट क्वेश्चन if it comes up in the examination? No, you won't be able to cover that particular topic, right? Let's suppose you are leaving accounting standards, right? You didn't cover accounting standards, so if there are questions in the examination, will you be able to cover it? No, right? So when you increase the scope of your coverage, you increase the scope of your luck. The surface area of your luck is directly proportional to the surface area of your coverage. So that's why I always advise guys, please try to cover as many topics as you can. पहले से कोई restriction मत बनाओ माइंड में कि दिस तो मैं नहीं करने वाला, अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड्स तो मैं नहीं कर पा रहा. I'll tell you guys, commerce and accountancy is one of the most easy and the most interesting subject of your syllabus, right? We'll be covering some sessions as well on the YouTube channel. There I'll be teaching you कि इसको बहुत easy कैसे बनाया जा सकता है, right? So that's all from my end guys for today, right? You can check out our course as well, which is there on the PFRDA. So we'll be covering both phase 1 and phase 2. This is a live session wala course. We'll be covering each and every concept in the live session itself. Plus you'll be getting all the PDFs and the mock test mock sessions as well, right? So thank you so much guys for watching this video. In case you are having any difficulty for your PFRDA examination, you can always reach out to me, right? If you do have any difficulty, do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye, take care.